they're the strongest asset you have in the business is your employees, right? I have 3 rules in business how this works. And for every dollar you get, the first dollar you get goes to the employees. The second dollar you get goes to the vendors, and the third dollar is reinvested. And everyone's like, what about you? You get paid at the end. This is a long-term run when you're running a business. It's not about sucking all the money out. It's about reinvesting in the opportunity for everybody. And just being here today is an opportunity for everybody. You know, being alive, being able to do what we do in this country and be able to empower people and create jobs and create energy independence. That is an opportunity and a blessing that we get. And we have to be thankful for that, but we have to utilize that time the best way we can. And when you're investing in your people, human capital, that's when they get better and your business grows.
Bam!
Jason Waller here with the True Underdog Podcast, and I appreciate everyone subscribing. Make sure you click subscribe right now on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, CastBox, and all of them. You can check us out, True Underdog, on Instagram as well and Facebook. And today I've got a special episode for you guys. It is how to succeed in business during the COVID-19 pandemic. That's right, we're still going through the pandemic. You know, our business grew almost 2 times the size it was before the pandemic. And we had growing pains, just like everybody else. There were companies that either faltered and they didn't grow because they weren't able to pivot or transition the way they do business. And then there were companies that continued to explode, continued to grow the right way. And it's really important that you set your standards, not only as an employer, but as an employee in what today's work should look like. You know, what it looks like to be an employee, what it looks like to be an employer. It is different now than it was in 2020 and before, right? We've developed new ways to manage the flow and the hiring process. And really what a lot of jobs now that used to just be in office now can be remote, which is a big deal. I mean, you know, U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, upwards of 3.6 million people quit their jobs each month. Think about that. 3.6 million people leaving their jobs. In fact, 4.4 million people left their jobs in September 2021 alone. That's 3% of our total employment base. This is crazy. But why is this happening? That's the question. Why do things like this happen when people have to provide for their families? And the COVID-19 pandemic set millions of Americans home with nothing to do but reflect. I know I spent a lot of time with my family and my kids, a lot of bonding that I'll remember for a very, very long time. But we finally had the time to evaluate whether our lives were headed in the right direction, right? You had some self-reflection, some opportunities there to develop yourself, to evolve. And many individuals, they realized they were not happy with their career. So they left. They found new employers who are meeting their needs. Some even started new businesses on their own. And that's exciting when you get entrepreneurs out there that have an idea or have a concept or want to empower and involve and elevate people. They become entrepreneurs. They open a company. And this post-pandemic resignation boom is not only industry specific, and it's not over. Around half of the American workforce says they intend to quit their jobs within the next year. That's huge. That's huge. And questions why? Why does everyone just want to quit their job? But it's because a lot of these employers, they're staying in prehistoric times. They're pre-COVID. They're not understanding that the world's evolved. What we need in business has evolved. The standards have changed. So how do we respond to this? How do we prevent it? You know, the past 2 years have forced organizations to act reactively instead of proactively. We've been in survival mode trying to combat the pandemic and the Great Resignation. People and employees are essential, and retention is essential now more than ever. I know when we were going through the pandemic, none of us knew what it was going to happen. You know, we didn't know what changes need to happen, and we were scared every day. We're on calls with lawyers and local health departments and jurisdictions to try to be essential. It was tough for like 4 months. And I remember us very worried and and this is before they came out with any unemployment stuff. And we had over 500 employees at the time. We're sitting with 800. But I remember, you know, a conversation with the executives on a call, and it got really heated. And a couple of the executives were wanting us to furlough, basically shut down and lay off our employees and pause our vendors until further notice. And I refused to do that. I didn't refuse to do that for selfish needs because the executives decided to take ourselves off payroll. And that happened for several months that we were off payroll to continue to reinvest into the business. But I wanted to make sure that we had an opportunity for Lucy, who's in the call center, to make sure that she could buy diapers for her kid. Or Mike, who's an installer, needs to make sure that he can pay his rent or his mortgage at home. We wanted the opportunity for our employees to still be able to provide, and for our customers, more now than ever, especially after the pandemic, wanting to harness the sun and utilize and own some of their energy and have some kind of energy independence. And so we doubled down on it. We tried to find a solution and a product that made sense for our consumers. And we tried to find a solution and a way we manage and the standards we set for our employees. And we went from 800 employees to today, now we're at 2,100. It's huge. And it's because we relayed messages to our employees. We kept them involved. We listened to their voice, what they needed, what they were concerned about. That's how business works. When you involve your employees and you grow as a team, it's not a me, it's not a you, it's an us thing. You're able to evolve and do great things. But you got to work together and you got to be able to pivot, right? We all hit blockades. We all hit fear. We all hit challenges. How are you going to come out of that challenge? You got to have some positive energy. You got to stay focused, right? And I think that if we find a way to proactively plan out goals, right? You proactively find a way to strategize, empower your employees, give them the tools and skill sets that they need to evolve and grow in your business. And I remember that I was so nervous and I was the anti-work from home person. That was me. I was like, look, I don't buy it. We can never have anybody work from home. We have lots of jobs that work from home now. And I'm a believer, right? I'm behind it now. It took time. Like everybody, I like certain change, but that change was like, listen, if they're not there, they can't be accountable. And in some instances, that's true. Like some positions, some people, they can't handle not being in an office. And that's okay. It doesn't make them bad people or bad workers. They just need a different environment to really excel. And some can do it from home. And this allowed us to have certain positions work from home. As we continue to evolve, we continue to hire more at-home positions. And you have to use software. You have to use technology to make a bigger difference. And we're all learning how to navigate this, landscape together. And if you're doing it the old way, your team likely will fall behind because people are worried. And, I know some of the things are going away and people are less worried. And look, I'm less worried. But you still have kids that are homeschooling, right? You still have people that are working from home now. And then people that aspire to work from home or open a business. And they've got to learn about technology. And what you really have to do is you have to be willing. You have to be humble. You have to have some humiliation to say, I don't know everything. You have to be willing to take advice, surround yourself by great leaders and great people. I believe in life and business is like a puzzle, and you got to be able to put those pieces together, right? To really make something great. And you got to be open to change and open to opinions. That doesn't mean you need everybody else to run your business. Meaning like they can't make all the decisions, but they can give you the information you need to make the best decision. Because when you make a decision, just like anything else in life, it affects everything. And I have made mistakes in my life, in business and in life, where I've made a decision. I go, ooh, that affected too many things this way. I got to fix that. My biggest advice in this is, if you're a leader and you're running a business or you're thinking of opening a business, maybe you're a manager, when you're proactively doing things, when you're proactively trying to evolve, you need to understand that not everything's a win. Not everything's going to be great. In fact, the only way you get better is when you fail and when you struggle. That's when you're learning more about yourself, learning more about your peers, learning more about the process, and you're educating yourself to not make that mistake again and get a little better. And that's what it's about. But you got to be willing to do that. As a CEO of Pink Energy, 2,100 strong, third business I built up from the ground up, I can tell you that a lot of mistakes I've made along the way. And one of the biggest mistakes is an ego, where I thought I knew everything. And it's my decision to do that. And let me tell you, that's the biggest mistake you can make. You need to set that aside and understand you're not going to be great at everything. You can be great at a couple things and good at a couple things, but you will never, ever, ever be great at everything. And that's why I said people and business are like a puzzle. You want to find those that are great at other things to add to your team. I always think of a team environment like the Avengers, right? You want to build the best team. Business, life, family. It's not an individual sport. It's a team sport. It takes teamwork. It takes empowering. It takes inspiring. It takes motivating. It takes kindness. And I run into challenges all the time, struggles, fears, bumps in the road, good months, bad months, great quarters, bad quarters. What are you going to do about it? You just keep pressing through. You keep digging in. Or as I like to say, you keep taking the stairs. There's no elevator. You just take the stairs and keep learning the process. I think when you spend precious company time and money on digital training, it'll be extremely difficult to replace your employees if they leave. So think about that. When you lose people, and I like to call employees, really, it's they're the strongest asset you have in the business, is your employees, right? I have 3 rules in business how this works. And for every dollar you get, the first dollar you get goes to the employees. The second dollar you get goes to the vendors, and the third dollar is reinvested. And everyone's like, what about you? You get paid at the end. This is a long-term run when you're running a business. It's not about sucking all the money out. It's about reinvesting in the opportunity for everybody. And just being here today is an opportunity for everybody. You know, being alive, being able to do what we do in this country and be able to empower people and create jobs and create energy independence. That is an opportunity and a blessing that we get. And we have to be thankful for that, but we have to utilize that time the best way we can. And when you're investing in your people, human capital, that's when they get better and your business grows. So it's all about technology and efficiency all day. I truly believe in that. You just don't throw bodies at a problem. I've been guilty of that. Just throwing, let's do that. And then, we got to learn that technology. It's going to take too long. You have to be open to changing. You have to be open to evolving. You know, we'll have people on our team study different technologies and see which will better our ways of the way we do business and a customer's experience. And we're always evolving. And some are bad. Some are like, that was a waste. And some are great. But you can't risk it. You get no biscuit. Scared money don't make money. You got to take risks in order to succeed. Very, very important. And those risks are investing in technology, investing in human capital. It's important to reinvest in the business, in your people, and in ways to be efficient. Another way you can retain your employees that we've seen is working remote. With the right preparation, transition to remote work doesn't have to be difficult. By investing in the advanced technology and building a stable, trusting relationship with your employees, your business may be more productive than ever. That is so true. We've had to transition our solar energy consultants to what we call SAMs, which are solar account managers. And so now what we do is we have somebody fill out a form online, and then we have somebody call them back, or they call in and we qualify them. And then we send what we call an SEC, which is a solar energy consultant, or I like to call more of a surveyor. And they show up and they go into the home. This is what we've evolved to. It wasn't like this before. They show up and they go into the home, and they walk around and they talk a little bit about pink energy, and they take all the pictures they need. There's like 30 pictures when you do solar. Like, you got to take pictures of the roof, the attic, the power panel, everything, right? The truss, everything you can think of to do this right. And then they sit down and they get on their tablet or their computer and they do a video voice call with a SAM, which is a senior account manager, who is our more experienced rep, who's been in the field before signing customers up. They have this experience. And this does a couple things. One, it empowers these SAMs to work from home, to take an hour and a half, 2-hour presentation there rather than driving all the way there. And maybe it being a one-legger means you got one spouse home, not two. Or rather than it be a no-show, or rather than it be a let me think about it, it allows them to be at home or in an office doing a presentation in the comfort of their own space, without driving, without losing that positive edge because they're stuck in traffic or it's a 2-hour drive or what have you. Their whole role is to have positive energy and talk about pink energy and talk about the importance of going green and renewable energy and the difference it's making an impact in people's lives and our world. Then if it doesn't work out with a customer, they're just taking another call and another call. So the best are getting the best swings. but it's allowing us to scale. And that's the key here. In order to scale, in order to grow, you have to find something that works. And empowering people to do this works. And then in between calls, they can eat a sandwich with their spouse or help their kid out with homework, whatever it is, and then they get back on the phones. Everybody's business model is different, but the idea is the same. Can you scale it? Does it work? Does it empower your employees? Does it build efficiency in your business? Does it have ways to get your employees wanting to stay and retain with your company? And I think the answer is yes. You know, one way you can think about this is with the right preparation, right? And the right technology, you build and stable, trusting relationship with your employees. They'll start to trust you. If you teach them the technology, you can't just put it in a box and here you go. You got to work with them. You got to train them. But that will help your business thrive in 2022. And I've watched people not even good with the computer learn all kinds of technology, and it's very, very important. Now, overcoming Great Resignation will require increased investments in upskilling existing employees. I personally have always grown my company within. We've started recently to hire some from outside. And look, the positive thing of growing within is this person's done this job, then they moved up to here, and then they did the next job, and then they moved up, and then they did the next job, and then they moved up. They've got the experience. Here's where they lack. They lack the managerial skills that they need because they've never been a leader. Shoot, I've never been a leader of a company this big. I'm learning every day. I have a CEO coach. I have a business coach. You have to involve and better yourself, right? You have to invest in yourself and your employees. And so we created a training and development team that actually puts these courses together to where all of these folks who have been promoted now have an opportunity to learn how to be a manager and learn how to manage KPIs and learn how to have structure. And that's important because you might have a great employee that was great at that job, but are they a great leader? Well, you'd like to think so. And in our case, that's what I think this person's going to be a great leader. But you got to invest in them. You got to train them. You got to work with them. Otherwise, I'm a big believer when you promote somebody, if it doesn't work, they're not going to go down. So you end up losing good people. It's so important that you think about that. You can promote someone and then you set yourself and them up for failure. So you need to really spend time with that person and interview that person if you're going to promote them. See if they're really going to be qualified and fit that job internally and externally, to be honest with you. And then you need to invest in them. You need to show commitment to them that you're going to make them better. That they don't need to be scared to fail, that you're going to work with them and train them to be the leader they need to be. It's a big deal. You know, you have to invest, like I said, in the human capital. You have to invest in technology. You have to invest back into the business. Sometimes it's okay to I'm starting to bring some outside leaders in the industry that are just have a different view. And it's really great to get a different set of eyes to build our business up. But sometimes it's great to, watch folks come in as an entry-level job and all of a sudden be district manager or regional manager or a director. And, you're changing their lives as well. And it feels good. Now, according to Mint, there's an estimated gap of 6 million people between demand and supply of digital talent across 8 countries. The shortage of tech talent that businesses are facing isn't only about developers and data scientists. Companies are struggling to hire workers across the IT sector as a whole, ranging from computing infrastructure to security. We're struggling to hire anybody doing anything. That's a fact. More people, it seems like in today's world, are just wanting to stay at home and not work. So why not get those good people and have them work from home? That's a win-win. We have installers. We struggle to get installers because they don't want to. Some people don't even want to go to work. It's the world we live in. You got to learn to pivot. You can't sit there and complain and point fingers and make excuses of why your business isn't growing and waste your time. You have got to invest in your business. You've got to be excited about your business. You've got to be able to pivot in your business. You got to be able to make changes and really show great leadership in your business. Part of the problem could be attributed to a sudden rise in the need for staff that can build and support digital infrastructure in the past 18 months in all sectors. The COVID-19 pandemic has forced business leaders to radically rethink old ways of working and in most cases has led to organizations kickstarting digital transformation programs. I just gave you guys several examples of how we transitioned. We didn't have anybody working from home before COVID-19. We didn't use technology that we're using today or even know about it. We didn't have a system where we could scale and have people work from home or remote, but you got to be willing to do that. You can't be stuck doing the old way of doing things. I mean, think about this. People want instant gratification. They got cell phones. They're doing this all day. Yeah, that's my social media and that's my email and everything's right at their fingertips and in their face. It's so bad, and I'm guilty of this, that everybody orders like DoorDash or Uber Eats. Like they don't even want to go to the grocery store anymore, so they do Instacart. That's the world we live in, and you have got to understand that if you're going to be part of change and evolving. The world we live in, you got to be a part of it, embrace it, and be excited about it. Quit running from it. That's what people want. Give the people what they want. The pandemic has only accelerated the need for technology. From communication to collaboration, tech has kept the world unified through a time of intense isolation. For example, as countries introduced strict lockdown rules, companies had to switch to remote working, which created a strong need for IT infrastructure that could support a fully virtual workforce. We went from, I think, 3 people on our IT team to 27 people. It's a big deal. And that's because we had to get more tablets out there, more PCs out there, more software out there, more video cameras out there. Any opportunity we had to make our folks better and be able to scale and be able to be remote and to keep people engaged and have these meetings all day with leadership was that. And now in today's world on video, you're having a meeting with everybody. You don't need to go somewhere. I don't need to fly in to meet with people. It's a lot of companies raising capital for their business. We went through some stuff like that going in that kind of the business. Like, dude, we didn't have to fly into a rodeo show to 8 different states and talk to 40 banks. We do it right here remote. Boom, I knock 4 out a day. That's the world we live in. Now, according to a new report, analyst Gartner, businesses think that the talent shortage is the biggest barrier to the adoption of 64% of new technologies. I mean, people are scared to learn the technology, and it's hard to find good people. And when you get people, invest in them, show them how to do things, show them how to get, to utilize technology and to better themselves, empower themselves, make themselves grow and evolve, right? Now, we're understaffed in certain areas, like installations and things like that, where we have people. We were understaffed in customer care and the SAM program and ICR, different spots in our business where we've made some remote positions available so we can get the best of the best. Think about this. When you're hiring at a local location, this is what I figured out, and it took me a little bit. If I'm hiring in North Carolina, in the city of Charlotte, then my pond of employees is the city of Charlotte. That's it. But if I'm hiring remote from home to do the job and I can fly them into Charlotte to train and then let them work from home, I just opened up 50 states. And if you're international, I opened up pretty much the whole world to my pond of employment opportunity. That's a big deal. Is a big deal. It's like saying from the old days, if I'm going to go to a bar or restaurant and try to date, or now I've got online dating. You just opened up your entire base here. Like now your opportunity to find great employees is there. But you got to be willing to make the change and the transition and be able to future think your business and scale. Organizations face a tough hiring market as businesses expand their digital operations and intensify recruitment for employees with digital skills. But you can combat that. Instead, you need to direct your focus to upskilling your current employees. If you've got good employees, invest in them. Train them, show them the way. Upskilling helps you avoid the cost of a high turnover rate while helping your employees build valuable new skills. Both Amazon and Google recently invested nearly $2 billion in upskilling their staff, and they're not alone. The 2021 State of Upskilling report revealed that 2/3 of respondents say that they plan to upskill their employees in order to tackle the skills gaps in their organization. Some respondents even said that they're not only using upskilling to solve the problem, but also technology. Now, here's what we're doing. We have created the workforce. Think about this. We'll never have a job remote, ever. It's not available. This is what you do. COVID hits. Oh, what are we going to do? Start losing employees that want to work. We're going to have to change. So we changed and then slowly but surely opened up a position here, opened up a position there. And then we embraced it. We're like, you know what? Our pool of employment just got bigger. We can hire anywhere USA and they can work for Pink Energy and they can do the job. And that is fantastic. But you got to look at it that way. You can't look at it as a detriment, because I was that person. I was guilty of that, saying, oh, they're going to work not as hard. You have ways to manage KPIs. They're like, how many calls are taken? How long are they on the phone? Like, you have ways to manage these things with the technology that's out. Technology is rapidly changing the way we do business. Employers aren't the only ones anticipating the need to upskill. According to research released in 2019 by customer experience management company Citadel Group, more than 1/3 of the employees, or 37%, say they would leave their current job or employer if they were not offered training to learn new skills. Think about that. More than 1/3 will leave if you don't train them to be better. When people work for your company, they usually work for your company for one or all of three reasons, in my opinion. One, they're money motivated. And if that's all they are, that's the wrong employee. But there's money, there's compensation. Two, they love the culture. They love the team. They love the culture. They love the difference they're making and the why of the business. And three, they love to grow. They love to see employment growth opportunities. They love to see that you're investing in them and making them better and getting them the licenses they need and the training that they need and the skill sets that they need to be a better person and a better leader and a better employee. Because that is the mindset of a good employee. If they want to feel important, they want to be needed, and they want you to invest in them so they can give their best selves to you. So you need to give your best self to them. Therefore, they can return the favor. You have to invest in them so they can do that back for you. So, organizations are capitalizing on the benefits of upskilling, counteract the effects of the great resignation of the pandemic to adapt to evolving the tech landscape. Employee development has always been a valuable part of a healthy, growing workplace, and it can be the key to thriving in a post-pandemic world of business. If you have the chance to prevent all of this, you can't prevent everything. Like, all you can do is be proactive. You can be that company that's technology driven, that is teaching new ways to do business, and that can scale. And it makes a huge, huge difference in the employees appreciating their job and wanting to work. You don't want them to just work for you for money. You want them to work for you because of all of those things I mentioned. Compensation is great. The culture is fantastic. And you're investing in them where they can be their best thems for you. You're showing them and giving them the technology, the skill set, the training, the development they need so they can give their best version of themselves to you. It's important. Most in-demand tech skills for 2022 are data science, AI, UX design, web development, cloud computing, blockchain programming. I'm still learning about blockchain. Remote communication and collaboration, data and IT security. Tech skills are hot commodities among employees, and their application isn't limited to the tech industry. Remote work is here to stay, but we need to improve how we remote work. I have covered this over and over again, and I'm just going to tell you that if you're not a believer in remote working, you're missing the boat. You know, advancements in technologies are also making remote work more accessible than ever. 5G, everybody knows about 5G. See all the commercials about 5G. The next generation of cell networks is rolling out across America this year, and it promises to make remote work a lot easier, providing speeds that are up to 100 times faster than 4G and designed to handle more devices than ever. The network may make it practical from work anywhere USA or anywhere in the country or anywhere in the world, and you could still get a signal. A fast, stable connection is the foundation of remote work, especially for CPU-intense video communication apps. The debut of 5G is providing more opportunities for remote or hybrid work by establishing a reliable connection across the board. Plus, virtual reality is already promising to take current remote staples like Zoom and Slack to the next level. While many VR meeting tools are still in beta, they provide a good idea of what virtualized meeting environments will look like. In addition, performance management tools can facilitate effective feedback and schedule regular check-ins between employees and managers. These elements are crucial for maintaining an engaged and motivated team, and it helps team members feel acknowledged for their hard work. However, by relying on individual self-reporting and self-organization, remote work introduces a complex new layer of administrative responsibilities into the employees' lives. To ensure collaboration and transparency, ensure that all work activities, schedules, and expenses all stay visible and accessible. It's very key. You have to be able to scale and measure KPIs, people's schedules, the cost of doing business, the cost of having remote teams. You have to be able to manage that and put things in place to be able to do that. Now, thankfully, automation means that the new digital coordination doesn't come at the expense of productivity. A slew of smart technologies already solve the biggest problems with these responsibilities. Automatic time trackers like Timely can now create accurate timesheets for employees and keep managers on top of remote workloads. AI scheduling apps like Dwoo can book virtual meetings that fit each employee's remote schedule. Smart expensing apps like Expensify, which we use, can instantly document company receipts via quick scan from a mobile phone camera. A new market in anti-distraction tools also serves to protect remote workers from disruptive Slack and email pings when they're trying to focus. Cloud computing and cloud-based tools are becoming the new standard for storing company documents. For just about everything, there's a new cloud-based version that can be accessed from anywhere, making remote work easier. I think we use, I personally have iCloud, but we have other things, OneDrive, and I think Google Docs. I think that's it. I think that's what we're using with our business right now. Plus, routine check-ins with your team members can help you gauge how they're feeling, identify challenges, and keep them focused. Even with all these accommodations, what your employees need most is self-care. If done incorrectly, remote work can be a blur, and the line between one's personal life and their professional life, which can be detrimental to their well-being. It is so important. Like I said, certain people can work from home, certain people can't, but you got to be able to draw that line. You got to be able to have them commit. If you're going to invest in them, like I keep talking about, invest in that human capital, invest in the skill set for your employees. They need to invest that time to be able to manage and carve out. Are they capable of carving out that time and focused on doing their job? And the benefit of that is they don't have to drive to work or drive home, and they could take a nice lunch hour with their family, but they got to get back to work. Work is work. You got to grind. You got to do your job. Okay. It's very important. However, you can avoid that as a strong leader. You need to set your team up for success by designing the right remote working conditions. If you're managing remote employees, here's how you create a workflow that balances work and life duties while still promoting productivity and goal setting. First, it's crucial to set clear boundaries on when work communication can be conducted. Providing your employees with adequate downtime will help to maintain that balance. That's the downtime I was talking about. For example, creating blocks of time where there are no Zoom meetings helps establish healthy boundaries. You can also block break times away from phones or computers to help employees mentally detach from their workload for a moment. Got to be able to just like relax that brain, detach for a few minutes, right? Adding exercise to the schedule is more than a temporary distraction. It promotes a healthier life, both mentally and physically. I love to go to the gym, love to work out, but I'm always playing for a tie because I eat bad, right? So I got to eat better. But dude, going to the gym is important. Taking care of your body is important. Having time for you to reflect is important. Make sure to take those timeouts with your team to have fun, play games, or even do virtual happy hours to make up for that valuable in-person bonding time. One of the things that some of our employees do when they talk to customers is they do virtual handshakes. It's great. And, they cut up, our team cuts up, a little bit on there and has a good time and has the little things that they put on the software, to cover their face and change things up. It's pretty cool. And it allows to kind of break down the barriers of it's just so strict work, makes them feel good. Prioritize giving your employees a sense of community and support, whether they're at home or in the office, is important. In conclusion, the way we work has changed forever, whether you like it or not. You have two options here. Do things the way you've been doing them, possibly fail, or implement new strategies that better fit our current needs. You have to be willing to pivot and change. Now, it's so important more than ever to make your workers feel comfortable, engaged, and motivated at work. I love to make sure my employees are motivated and inspired and empowered. I love when they make a difference not only in the customer's world, but in their personal world. It's the best feeling ever. And you have to utilize time. You can make all the money in the world, but you don't have all the time. So you need to utilize your time correctly. And I would inspire and motivate your leaders and encourage your leaders to make sure they use that time correctly and efficiently with their team. It's time to start developing a plan to retain your employees before they're inspired to quit or before another virus sweeps the nation and sends us all home. If the pandemic has taught us anything, it's that it's always better to be prepared. That means upskilling your employees and creating a better method of managing remote employees. Now, thanks for tuning into this episode, Underdogs. I hope you feel more comfortable navigating the new normal. Be sure to check out my other Underdog Bites for more nuggets of wisdom on how to crush your success in this new economy. And I want to make sure that you know that this episode was brought to you by Dell. Small businesses are ready to thrive again, and they're looking for resources to rise to the challenge. And that's why Dell Technologies has assembled an all-star lineup of podcasters for the third year in a row to create a virtual conference to share advice and inspiration for small businesses. Whether you're still working remotely or back together again, let Dell Technologies help safeguard your business with modern devices and Windows 11 Pro. Search Dell Technologies Small Business Podference on Odyssey.com. That's AUDACY.com on Spotify or Apple Podcasts starting May 10th. Again, Underdogs, I appreciate the follow. I appreciate you subscribing to us. Make sure you continue to check us out. Make sure you feel inspired. You feel motivated. Make sure you encourage, you empower, and you go out and make a difference. Bam! And that concludes another episode here on True Underdog. If you're interested in hearing more, make sure you subscribe at iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or the YouTube channel. You can always visit TrueUnderdog.com, subscribe to all of them. Make sure you check out our newest episodes coming out on Mondays and Thursdays. True Underdog, baby. Bam!